Public holiday? What? I'm from America. We don't have holidays. We just work all the time. Actually, that was more Amazon. Amazon just like never has holidays. It's like, oh hey, it's Martin Luther King Day. We should have the day off. Oh hell no, it's Amazon. Hey, it's President's Day. We should have the no, it's Amazon. It was a lot nicer when we were at BioWare because BioWare has had tons of days off. Yeah, that was what I was talking about with like Dragon Age Legends and all that. I was a server engineer at BioWare in San Francisco. We were primarily a mobile and social games studio, but we got to help out on a few things. Like pretty much everybody helped out on The Old Republic when it came out because they all hands on deck for that monster. But like I worked on the Dragon Age Legends stuff, and we also worked on some Mass Effect stuff. For Mass Effect 3, they had the whole Galaxy at War system, if you remember that. Helped out with some of that with the mobile game integration. Like there was a naval app that you could get for your phone where you could command little ships and stuff like that. So I wrote the server for that thing. Black circle, the rectangle. Why am I Hey, we can drag all of them on at once. The hit rect should be the purple. Yeah, it was nice working at BioWare when it was like before BioWare fell the hell apart. Because what basically happened is when BioWare was doing better, we got extra benefits. Like when The Old Republic came out, we all got the super amazing collector's edition boxes. Like everybody in the studio, which was actually really cool. Like, you know, all these boxes showed up, and those collector's editions were huge. They were, you know, they had like a little statue in them and all this cool stuff. And imagine having, 60 of those boxes delivered to your office. And that was us. So we literally had like collector's editions that were taking up, like the space of a small room, just like sitting there, and everybody got one. And we also got what was called the BioWare Week, which was at the end of the year for Christmas. EA has you get a week off on Christmas, but if you were BioWare, you got 2 weeks off. And that was pretty awesome because it was weeks like you weren't supposed to get them off. It was just it was basically what you would do is nobody would show up. So, technically on the books we were all supposed to be there, but it was like an agreement with all of management and everything else that like nobody was checking roll that week. So, like the rest of the company has to show up for work, and everybody's like, "Well, where's the Bioware guys?" Be like, "Oh, I don't know." Should you talk to their manager? No, their manager says everything's fine. Oh, okay then. Body is purple. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, before Bioware collapsed, and the collapse, I don't know. A lot of people are like, "Oh, EA is horrible, and EA caused everything." And well, it's kind of a mixed bag there. It's never like one thing that went wrong. I think a lot of it started with just how much frickin' money and time Dragon Age took. The Dragon Age Origins. But at least for me, what killed BioWare San Francisco was, well, we didn't make money on our Facebook game. And then our head leadership left BioWare San Francisco. And when he left, like, EA's like, "Oh, what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna bring in..." Yeah, the attempt to push out a lot of DAO games very quickly. That has directly to do with like just how long it took to make Dragon Age Origins. Like you gotta get money if you're gonna pay your employees, if you're gonna make games, and there's no getting around it. There's no getting around it. So if you make a game that doesn't make money, you're not gonna be making games for long. And when you spend all that time making games, one game, it better sell. The only thing to fear on those enchanted summer nights was that the magic would end and real life would come crashing in. Yeah, we lost our senior leadership, so people thought it was a great idea to go buy a company that had leadership for BioWare San Francisco, and those guys came in, and like it was a huge clash in terms of like culture. Like they were all about cutting costs on absolutely everything, and we were about delivering better quality on things. This isn't what I want. This is like that. It was pretty funny. We fell apart in like a month. We went from a studio of like 40 people or something, just like everyone resigned and quit or transferred, just like the space of a month and a half. It's just like, wow, okay, something's gone horribly wrong here. It's a bad sign when there are more managers and HR people in the office than actual employees. That's when you know stuff's really messed up. Though I actually had an advantage when we had like all the HR crap that happened. Um, Scorpion, welcome. When like everything went straight to hell, what was really cool was I was in a D&D group with one of the HR guys who was helping us out. So I was like, hey, I need to find another job within the company, and he's like, I will totally hook you up with, you know, everybody. So it always helps to have HR on your side. It's going well, Scorpion. I'm just rigging up some fat sacks, rigging objects, so I've got the right stuff in the game. Five layers of management trying to work up slash. Yeah. That was one of the things that I learned at BioWare was, at BioWare San Francisco, was if you don't make money on your game, like it's not evil. It's not evil to make money on your game. In the sense that you're not going to be able to deliver a good game if your project just doesn't make any money, because you know you're gonna have all the right people all lined up, you know, ready to just make good, cool stuff. But when the money runs out, the business has to make decisions which usually are completely at odds with making, you know, a good experience for somebody to play, right? Because all of a sudden, instead of thinking like, how can I make this game really fun, all of a sudden your designers get dragged into a meeting and they're like, if we're all going to keep our jobs, I need you to make something that makes a lot of money. And you know, all these people have been hired, and all these designers, etc., have been hired on your team, and their training is all in making stuff that's fun, not in stuff that makes money. So they're usually not very good at making stuff that makes money. You know, like, a real problem. So when that happens, your designers just kind of, they get saddled with stuff, you know, that they haven't gone to business school, and most of the time, and they're a little bit out of water. So you end up with like really awful design choices and stuff that's just crammed in there, or you end up taking features out that are fun. Get rid of money altogether. Seems to cause more problems than it solves. We should all be, you know, using the barter system, right? We should be. I'll give you 10 bales of hay if you let me play your Nintendo Switch for a couple hours. How about that? Sound good? Sounds good. But it's basically like, if you actually appropriately plan out your project so that it is profitable, not only are you making good decisions for the people working with you, you're making good decisions for the customer. Because they are going to get a product that has been properly designed and played, you know, designed, tested, and exists. Cool. Yeah. I'll trade you sheep for wood. You don't have any. Then how about ore? No ore. Shit. This never works. So let's take a look here. There are states real quick. So we want debug layer is showing up. Where is does this guy not have? Yeah, where's the running layer? Where's the rigging for it? Is it behind or something? I don't see it anywhere. There it is. There's our rigging. That was one of the things, like if you actually take the time, properly budget out your project, you can actually make some really good stuff, and you're not screwing over your employees, you're not screwing over your customers. It's really not that hard. A lot of the time it just takes just sitting down and giving a damn. W idle. Where are you? You're right here. Wham. This is DSA. SR1. Oh, well, that's frickin' wrong. Wow, what's going on with you? Air 2. Yeah, looks like I'm doing the same stupid stuff. DS Air 2. Yep, impact. Impact 1. How consistent am I? I keep screwing this up every single time. Not bad though. Not bad. 0.6, 0.6. 0.6 is 1. Excellent. And then it was interesting when like we were working with people who were very much on the side of we're going to try to extract as much money from people as possible. Kind of seeing how they thought. I did not like working with those people because when they were trying to think of like how can we extract as much money as we can from customers, they're actually doing the same thing with like their employees, which really pissed me off because you know it was that same mindset carried over of like, you know, we're going to take as much money from the customers as we can get, and we're not going to pay people nearly as much, or things like that. Let's just roll. So it kind of went hand in hand, where if all you cared about was money, you end up actually creating a really awful studio for people to work at. Alright, let's roll through this real quick. That's not a D roll, it's an S roll. And those studios that were full of, you know, basically abused employees, they didn't ship anything good. Yeah. I think we had one guy, he like took us out to dinner one night, and he was talking about how because he got like a whole bunch of money that like all of a sudden like women are paying attention to him, and he's like, oh, I was a loser in high school, but now I have all these women, and we're just like, we really don't care. You know, it's just like, can we talk about something like you working here and like how we're gonna structure our studio and like be successful? I really don't care about how many gold diggers you're able to to bring in here. Alright, let's see if we can export all the fat sacks. Your export folder is not what is expected. Please select the characters folder. Ah! So many dialogue boxes. Yeah, well, I'm glad I wrote that into the script. Basically, the script was telling me I need to select the import characters folder if I want to export these. Yeah. All the things. Error. Sprite resolution. Sprite too big for space allowed in the sheet. Reduce drawing size or increase sprite sheet maximum. Why does it pick out? We should not have something that... Wow. Why are you having such a hard time rendering? He should take a long look at himself. I don't think he was really too worried about self retrospection or introspection. Man, why are these things? Alright, so we got the running. Then we've got a billion frames of garbage after it. Oh no. I think we changed something, and that's what's going on here. Alright, have fun, Scorpion. Yeah, it was pretty funny. We had some DevOps guys, and they didn't understand what DevOps people did, and so they thought they were more like IT guys. And DevOps guys are engineers. They maintain your services and do all those things. And they wanted like the DevOps guys to do IT stuff, like filling up the copier with toner and shit like that. It was really hilarious because like as soon as they asked them to do that, like the DevOps guy was just like, goodbye, and like quit. It's just like sure, I'll get right on filling that printer with paper, and it just resigned on the spot. it was great. So what exactly did we do here with? Yeah, so this is taking forever to render because it's rendering like all the empty frames. Like, there you go, there's a really nice render of Fat Sack. And it should only be rendering like that. So we're gonna let Harmony freak out a little bit here. And then we'll work on fixing it. Actually, I'm gonna be right back. Yeah, well, if you think spending, like, having people that are insane about, not spending money is bad, I think it was actually having the opposite at, like, Amazon, where for one of the games, money wasn't an object. Like, the objective was not to make money, and we could, like, spend all the money we really wanted on all the things. And that actually turned into, like, even worse than what you would expect. Because nobody had any sort of constraints. It was just a nightmare. Alright, so how are we figuring out our export here? Yeah, exactly. $600 juice press was exactly what happened. Alright, so if we export this, what's actually happening? Yeah, that was the one where we were trying to make like a mobile game, and we ended up buying like 2,000 servers for. The project was ridiculous. At the end of it, if we had just like bought every customer who ever played the game, just like an Xbox, like Xbox One and a game, and like a controller, we would have come out ahead. Alright, so module name, gathering information, founder group, rendered frame. Memory efficiency and non-number total. Is this thing just screwed up? Like, why? This is gonna be idle. I don't see any. This is all jacked up. What did we change? Because we changed some stuff with the rigging, and I'm pretty sure we broke the compatibility with FatSack. So I need to go back and figure out what exactly we changed. Because Bitey should be working. So I need to just check on him real quick. Well, I just go ahead and make sure that Bitey is exporting properly. Let's do dr idle. frames? Is it? This is RIO. Let's see. This has got how many frames of it? Yeah, why does this have 150 frickin' frames? This should have 55 frames? So something changed here. Something is definitely broken with our export process, and that's a problem. Is it because this doesn't have a keyframe? Let's do it again and see if that's true. No, it is not true. It is not true at all. Alright, well, it looks like we have another task to do, which is fix the export from Toon Boom. Damn. How many times am I gonna have to fix this thing? Probably all the times. Alright, so RG pivot, all that stuff, defaults, scale X and Y, top is there. So we found our group, and I want to do in. So setting end frame is not getting called as far as I saw. So rendering everything because we are not finding what we want to find. And what is it that we want to find? So for every object that exists, my export frame end frame is less than that. So we're looking for special object types. Gathering information, modules are pivot, rect, module name is. Alright, so we got all those, found our group. Alright, so we're gonna say which layers we're skipping here. And
yeah, man.
So we're skipping the rigging layer. Well, what about the layers we're not skipping? So start index and end index on those things. So for every loaded object in the exist map, like I'm not seeing an unable to find data per object.
Yeah, man.
Scanning through pivots, scanning through rect. Okay, so we're scanning through it. We found the object. We had the object in our sights. End frame is -1. Pivot doesn't exist, is what it's saying.
Yeah, man.
So it looks like there's something with the new rigging objects, which has caused all sorts of problems.
Yeah, man.
So purple rectangle. is which frames are you exposed on? Crap, this is always the worst thing when we're hunting through this. It's like exposure is just 1. Yeah, like we've got this, like this is a black circle drawing here, and the exposure is just 1. It's not real. And then we've got this pivot, frame 1 through 159. What the hell is this? Well, at least I know it's not something that's going on with just Bitey, it's something that's going on with FatSack too, so FatSack's a much simpler file. We're gonna deal with him. Yeah, but it looks like the same sort of thing where exposures are not set properly. Because these are what they normally look like. They got like the exposures numbers on them. So I think it has something to do with these layers being this odd color here. Yeah, just trying to figure out where we can get the information for all these things. Is that 46? Yeah, bring 46. I'm looking for 46 then. So it's supposed to go 1 to 46, but I don't see anything for it. Is it these options inside of, like, what is this? That's not correct. This is 1 through 12. 1 through 15, 1 through 36, 1 through 64, 1 through 40. What in the hell? Alright, so the exposure for wrecked hit body wreck 1 is 1 through 15. Is there any 1 through? There was no 1 through 46. The first thing is going to be Art Idol. Black circle symbol 1, which is 1 through 15. So we have a puzzle. Basically, we need to find where in the hell Harmony is storing the exposure information in its file, so I can figure out like when a box exists and doesn't exist. And with the new formats, everything, the game has changed once again. So I need to track it down, and Harmony is not super easy with tracking these things down. So basically we've got like RG Fizz Body Rec 1 here, which it's got this publish under tab now, instead of just like having a name of like RG Fizz Rec 1. It has this publish under tab, which is RG Fizz Body Rec. Which I think that's what's screwing stuff up here, is that like I'm looking at the name and not under the publish under tab. So we've got this publish under tab and like FizzRec Body 1. So basically what we have to do is figure out exactly what information we have, because inside of, we're basically parsing these files and extracting out the exposures so that we know when things exist and when things don't exist. And we're looking inside of module, and then we're gonna, yeah, see right here we're grabbing the name out of the module, and then we're gonna go through the attributes of that module, so here, and then we're going to grab the drawings inside of it, which are these. And then based on those drawings, we get this element name right here. And this element name, if we go look at this in the file, you can see it's got the exposures for the object. And the problem is, this name up here is now different. Basically, this RG Fizz Body Rect is what I'm looking for, but it's been replaced with this right here. So I need to see if, when I'm going over these rigging layers, if I can get the real name out of here, because right now I'm looking for like Fizz Body Rect, which is what is in the name inside of Harmony. And if I can instead get this, basically, if this information is inside of this guy, so I'm gonna have to, it's a puzzle. Basically, whenever Adam changes the rigging format stuff, we have to go figure out again